I was going to touch on Armon Wiggins. So we know, because I saw some things that happened over the past couple of days. And so we know that Armon was caught at the Diddy trial being doused in baby oil outside of court, while people yelled, more oil, more oil. And it was a completely, to me, disturbing, disrespectful, idiotic, unprofessional act. And I'm fully aware of how, because you have YouTubers, you have journalists. There are different levels to this thing. Some YouTubers, like myself, we like to be credible. We like to come off as a professional. Like, I love doing my due diligence. I do throw in jokes here and there, even in serious conversations or whatever. But anybody thinking to go and have baby oil pour all over their body, it's ridiculous. And Armon Wiggins had crossed over to getting attention from mass media. I mean, like, he was on, was he on scene? He was on different broadcast channels discussing the Diddy trial. And most YouTubers we want that. We want the mass media to realize how great we are. So he had gotten that. And to see him do this, to me, showed you can't give certain people that extra nudge, because they still is with their bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And he put out a statement, right? Because first I want to put up this, because this was the first thing he put out.
So people were,
because once it went viral, he was talking about it on his channel. Because folks was calling him out, me included. So this was his initial reaction to people who was upset at what he did. Yeah, he was on Nancy Grace on CNN. He was on Nancy Grace, on CNN. And you then proceeded to be on outside with the fools, getting baby oil poured on you. Okay. So again, folks was upset at how he was seemingly because that seemed like a celebration that Diddy got off. Okay, so this was his first reaction.
Going and saying that, I think it was on one of those neighborhood watch things or the neighborhood notification. I don't know. It got like 11 million alerts that people were slinging baby oil. It was like this huge thing. The police came out. They started barricading all of this stuff. It was crazy, right? So, at first I was a little bit upset because the headline started to say, oh, Diddy supporters, are, cheering outside for baby oil, right? And then,
because that's what it looked like. And any true journalist or YouTuber, content creator, if you see a crowd of people cheering after someone was found innocent of 3 charges, guilty of 2, and there are folks outside celebrating, that's what it looked like. That's what you went, because I'm not going into no crowd of folks cheering, because whether you were against Diddy or for Diddy, no one was celebrating when the verdicts came out, because it still was like, okay, he kind of got off. So even him saying, oh, it was it made it look, no, it was what it was.
And I was, at first I was upset because I was like, first of all, this is coming from the press that was inside. And a lot of those people knew me and they knew my platform. And they were
also, I believe, because I don't watch or follow him, but I believe the whle Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion situation he was on Tory's side, if I recall. So that's already one notch on the nigga what belt.
Out here making it seem like, oh, Armon had to be a Diddy supporter, and it just, doing all that stuff. And I just didn't like it because I'm like, bro, you guys are putting out this misleading headlines that's going viral everywhere. So, but I couldn't control it. So I was really upset about that. But
you know why? Because you chose to dance around with your shirt off, getting baby oil poured on you. So you put yourself in that predicament. You put yourself in that situation. So no one can misconstrue a situation that you don't put yourself in like that. It wasn't as if you were recording other people celebrating. You were in the celebration.
two, I was upset because number one, I was expressing to one of my friends that people were trying to take the fun out of this case for me and my followers, and and y'all know me.
People tried to take the fun out of this case. It wasn't a fun case. It wasn't a fun. This is not a fun case. And again, I always say there's a way to, I won't even say find humor, but there's a way to lightheartedly cover serious cases. However, what you never say is, people try to take the fun out of the case. It wasn't a fun case. Nothing about the case was fun. Nothing. Nada. So this being his first reaction to it, that, oh, they tried to take the fun. What fun? And that shows how on social media he's a clown.
I'm in a new light, so I'm not going to crash out, but I had every intention to crash out, but I'm not, just because I don't have to. But the thing was, I felt away because I'm like, you know what? Screw you. Because it's like, everyone knows, just yesterday, I was never about being a Diddy supporter. And I want to clear something up. If I decided that that's what I wanted to do, I have a right in this country to do so. And no one's going to make me feel like I can't. You get what I'm saying? This is my platform. I spent my money. I covered this trial every single day for 60 days doing it. So if I want to support the man.
Let's not make it seem as if you didn't make tons of money doing it. You were lucky enough to be able to go and be there every day. That's great. However, you made tons of money doing it. You went because I wanted to go myself, but I was like, it's gonna probably be a madhouse. Who knows how long the trial will be? I can't take 6 weeks off work. However, you are a full-time content creator. So you are able to go and record from an Airbnb house in New York and make money from it. From views, from super chats, from CashApp, or whatever. So even trying to sneakily defend your defense of Diddy is stupid. You do have the right to support who you want to support, but don't try to play monkey see, monkey do. And we see you doing monkey see, monkey do. You want to act as if we saw the wrong thing. You want to act as if people calling you out for what you did was wrong. No, you went and celebrated because you wanted to. Other people was like, okay, this is the response of us for the verdict. You went and took your shirt off and got doused in baby oil and danced around with other Diddy supporters. So why would we not think that you're a Diddy supporter?
And on the moon, I can do so. But that wasn't what this was about. This was about the moments that we've created here in this room. What this was no different than me thinking creatively off the top of my head in the moment and doing something for my fans and my people. This had nothing to do about celebrating Diddy.
Was your fans there? When you make it about your fans and not about the court case you're covering, that's how we know you ain't in it for the court case. You were in it for the fans, the money that it got you from doing the. There are many YouTubers who make plenty of money because they have method channels, and people love that. And saying that your actions had nothing to do with the trial or Diddy, no, my fans, right? Because you were doing it to make money, and you knew that would get attention. You thought folks found it funny, and it was offensive.
This was more about me, honestly, and doing the more oil, because whenever I'm out at the clubs, whenever I'm out at the bars, if I'm walking down the street, people are yelling, more oil, more oil. And so to me, it's no different than me throwing the oil on me, myself in here, drop kicking Cassie over here.
No different than me pouring oil on my body here, or me drop kicking Cassie. Again, no part of Diddy's trial should be for fun and reenactment. But some people do it because they know it'll get them attention, it'll get them liked, it'll get them views. That's called immaturity. That's called chasing the views. Because there should never be a time to where your thought process is to reenact someone being abused. But that's his channel. That's his shtick. That's his thing. You know what I'm saying? But don't act like we crazy for being. Don't act like we're crazy for calling you out.
Flinging myself on the bed, coming from behind I've came behind this door every single day for this trial. We went viral every single day for reenactments. Through this whole process of this trial, I've had props. Why wouldn't I have a prop on the last day and do a more oil live in the flesh for the people that were there?
Yeah, why wouldn't I do more oil? Why would I not? Why would I not? Because anyway.
Thought of it in that moment, like, oh my God, we should do a live reenactment of more oil because this is what we do.
And this is the thing. It's a time and place for everything. Doing that outside the courtroom when there are cameras. The Diddy case is not an episode of Rap City. You know what I'm saying? Where only black folk gonna come and watch a rapper freestyle real fast. This was a literal federal case that was making national news. So for you to think, okay, it's the last day of the trial, let me get my baby oil and let me, reenact some shit outside the courtroom for attention and views and clicks and money. And those are the kind of people who get propped up and get shared everywhere and get all these views because of the fucking foolery.
But I do understand that the headlines are misleading, and the people that didn't know me, they took those messy headlines, and then it was a trigger. It was a rage bait. It was a little bottle of baby oil.
So that was his first response. That was him saying, oh, it was a misleading headline. It was rage bait. It's like, no, we were knowingly upset. It was exactly.
I told y'all this to get out.
Okay. Anyway, After he went live and said, I did what I did and blah, 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 I'm chucking and driving. He want, because I think at that point, brands or real, I won't say real channels, real stations, real news sources where he probably could go on it. You could have easily went on whatever broadcasting thing and discuss the other folks being done, but you played in the shit. So he then said yesterday a clip of me outside the courthouse went viral and was taken out of context. What started as a light-hearted moment, part of a long-running joke with my audience, was misinterpreted as support for Sean Diddy Combs. That was never my intention. Yes, it was. Because if you're not intending to support an abuser, you would not make fun of the abused. If you're not trying to support Diddy, you would not be able to reenact Cassie getting beaten up. If you were not trying to support the abuser, you would not be able to say, "Oh, you wouldn't do any of that." There are other ways to lightheartedly discuss serious shit, and none of it comes off as support of the abuser. However, your actions did. Your actions did. Anyway, for the past 2 days, I've worked hard to cover this case with honesty and objectivity. That moment was about sharing a bit of levity with the community that's been on the journey with me, nothing more. Still, I fully understand how the timing and optics may have felt hurtful, especially to survivors of abuse. I sincerely apologize to anyone who was impacted or disappointed. This has been a reminder to move with greater care and remain committed to doing the work with integrity and heart. And I feel like if you did not already have that, you can't learn it now. But at what point, you're a grown man. You're a grown man who has been in your fair share of shitty beefs and stuff, across social media with other people and whatever. So you know, because you would have never, if you were on CNN, when the court's verdict came down, and let's say CNN, MSNB News, BET News, hell, MT or whatever, if any broadcasting station had you live streaming your reaction, you would have never did more oil, you would have never done that. You would have never done that. You want to know why? Because you know right place, wrong time, or vice versa. You did that shit on purpose because you wanted to. You wanted you wanted to go viral, but you felt like it'd be a fun because you saw all the cameras recording you. You saw all there was. It was that's a damn melee. Okay, everyone recording until the crackhead came in. Everyone recording on cell phone child, all the cell phones out. You wanna know why? Because this isn't media. This is social media. This is, and when the news first ran, they weren't saying Armon Wiggins. They were saying, again, they didn't even know who Armon was. The folks said, wait a minute, is that Armon Wiggins? This nigga does oil? What is it? You know what I'm saying? So like the whole apology thing, and I'm gonna do better next. You should have been doing better. You wanna know why? Because you've already plateaued to that platform. You're not a new person. You're not a new YouTuber. You're not a new person. You're not new. You're not new to this by any means. Okay, so cut the bullshit. I'm pretty sure in a month or whenever the next big thing happens, he gonna say some dumb shit as he always do. Every time something happens, they say again. Remember, he's the one that wrote that crazy ass roast of Al that blew up Fox Soul. So he knows how he's supposed to act and not act in certain circles. You know how it's supposed to be professional or not. And what you do at home for your YouTube channel and what you do as a person covering the Diddy trial outside the courthouse is two different things. But both things to him is clicks and views and money. Period. Anyway, I don't follow him, but I don't know who he is. You know what I'm saying? So, child, Jesus, please fix this.